So we have lectern mic.
Great.
So that's just
Easy. It's already
and
set.
then there's two.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. And we'll leave one up here. Yeah.
So for the actual session,
Yes.
have two so they can share them between that.
Perfect.
If it goes to a Q&A,
Yes.
leave one here and then one goes into the audience.
Great. Yeah.
And that one then will stay in the audience, and then they just have to switch the mic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very
I have fired, but they're a bit naughty.
Okay.
So they're just here.
Do that.
Okay.
And I think the session started.
It starts. Are they here? All right. The other thing
Hi, everyone. Dear panelists, may I invite you to join your chair? Whatever chairs. There is no order. Yes, maybe remove it from the maybe it's better here. So yeah. It is not an app for any. Yes. Okay. Okay, good afternoon, and welcome everyone to uh, this new event on ocean research. We will be focusing for an hour on how scientific coordination can better inform decisions towards ocean sustainability. My name is Arnaud Lalo. I work with the French National Research Center, the French National Center for Scientific Research, as Science and Societal Challenges Coordinator. And before, so please, when you hear your name, raise your hand so everyone knows who you are. For scientific research, Peter Domeno, no, Toste Tanois. We have now Françoise Gaël, President of the Ocean Sustainability Foundation, hosted by the CNRS Foundation and co-developer of the IPOS. And Fernando Menezes, Administrative Director of FAPESP, the Sao Paulo Research Agency in Brazil. And then we're going to have later Minna Epps from the IUCN and Ambassador Olivier Poivre d'Arvor, Special Envoy of the French President to the United Nations Ocean Conference. So a few words of introduction. So connecting science, all sciences, and engaging with society is essential to inform decision and develop solutions based on knowledge adapted to human context and to various intertwined challenges, such as climate precisely. So from last year until today, this has been an ongoing conversation at the One Ocean Summit in Brest, at the second United Nations Ocean Conference of scientific institutions in support of the International Panel for Ocean Sustainability, IPOS, and which indeed aims to serve as a knowledge hub and support the translation of science into inclusive decision-making. So today at COP28 here in Dubai, we thought it would be useful to discuss with our panelists the various ways in which science can mobilize for ocean sustainability and contribute a qualitative leap in the run-up to the next United Nations Ocean Conference, which will be held in Nice in 2025.
Social behavior of the ocean. And so clearly we need all sciences. That's not particular to ocean. As the head of a scientific organization, I insist on the fact that it is more or less all sciences. I mean by that is, of course, we need our colleagues from ecology, environment, universal sciences, but we also need data scientists. We also need mathematicians for having new models. And I don't want to forget them. We need our colleagues from humanities and social sciences. It's absolutely key. It's not so easy to make collaboration between all of them, but it's really mandatory if we want to face this question. The second have completely disconnected policies all over the world. And from my point of view, science should be a key role. We will not play a role alone. The idea is not to say that not to science will not explain to people what they have to do. We all know that it does not work, but science have to bring knowledge. And after that, people will not be able to say, oh, we didn't know. That's not true. We know what will happen if things do not change. That's, from my point of view, is exactly the role of science. That's complicated because I think that we have to let people decide freely. And sometimes scientists would like to make decisions for decision makers, but that's not our role. But really, for me, our main role is to bring knowledge. And now, for such a complex system or ecosystem like oceans, this knowledge can be only produced through collaborations between all sciences. So I don't know whether it's pluridisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, transdisciplinarity, I don't care. What is important?
One of them is the urgency of the aren't going along with that. And so whatever my answer is, it has to involve that word. Also scale, to Antoine's point, the scale, the ocean's of course massive, and it's just massively underobserved. And then the third is collaboration and partnerships. But again, I'm going to be a little bit deliberately provocative on this as well. In terms of the urgency theme, it's really an opportunity for us to meet the moment. Some of you who know me know that I was 33 years at one institution at Columbia University, and I left that to join the institution at Columbia University. And I left that to join the Oceanographic, not only because it's the Woods Hole Oceanographic and it's this great institution, but it's also an institution that I think is uniquely prepared as one institution, but there are many, to really stand up and address some of these global challenges that we're facing. But really what it comes down to are the men and the women, the scientists and engineers who are working on this and really empowering them to do new things. Because there are a lot of very smart people out there, but the process, the enterprise of science trained in a very traditional, almost medieval manner, and yet we're having to respond to this very urgent call, put our brains to work to solve some really incredibly. It's going to be hard, it's expensive, but just imagine that we have that capability today. Then, the almighty Argo float. It's incredibly important to us, but it's about as smart as a toaster. And so it's really an opportunity for us to think about how can we turn this into something that's more capable. And last comes really an echo of a point that Antoine mentioned, which is the importance of collaboration. We're here today in the Ocean Pavilion. The Ocean Pavilion is not any one of us, it's all of us. We're all here supporting it. And for those of you who are member institutions, I say thank you. But it's really a symbol of what over 100 institutions have signed on to just over the last week or so. And it's a call on world leaders to support and improve ocean observations, to Antoine's point, to provide a basis for understanding natural and anthropogenic change. And then there's come from this COP would be to have the final document, the final declaration, do more than just mention the ocean once. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And talking about the Ocean Pavilion is also live streamed. So at present, it's also heard of in our country. So thank you, Peter. Next question is for you, Toaster. Do you think we need to go more digital? And we need, or at least how might the integration of an oceanic avatar assist in advancing ocean sustainability and these kind of things?
And then, of course, you need to have a data machinery. You need to put out the data. And that's what they did in a way with the ocean science, like Peter was just saying here. Now, and I'm part of a UNDK program called Ditto. And it started with the kind of same thing. There's a very simple sketch here of the value chain. We talk about the requirement setting, but also the observations that need to be sustained. We have a hard time in the scientific research community to convince what the research agencies should do, but we need to find the right agencies to support those long-term observations to understand climate change. It's really important, relatively to improve the sustained observing system. And the digital twin, the machinery that actually use the data model fusion to go in and add these features in your digital twin and see what is the outcome. What is the best option? You can also not just look at what's going to happen to my city, what's going to happen to the ecosystem, to the fisheries, to other marine activities, shipping, future, right? I mean, what are the predictions? And particular, if you do different interventions in your management, it doesn't have to be building a seawall. It can actually be what are the interventions or allowing any fisheries and allowing some sport fishers to go there and do some catch.
So much a public debate. Thank you. So we had the angle research.
Research agencies adequately equipped to promote transnational research for making sustainable decisions on a global scale. To answer this, I will briefly address FAPESP's experience. Just in a few words, FAPESP is a public funding agency the share of clean energy in Brazil is almost 50%, and bioenergy from sugarcane accounts for 18%. And this is largely due to research resulting in more efficient and less environmentally damaging sugarcane production. Responsible for mapping in studying the country's rich biodiversity, and which has its results frequently mentioned, explicitly mentioned as basis for.
I'm very glad to be here with you because for me it's a panel of very prestigious oceanographic and research institutions. Perhaps we can look at this following slide, please. What we think after the COP21, after all the results aspect is today, going further after the production of knowledge itself, the scientific academic area. And we think that based also on the experience, for example, created for the COP21, the climate science area, that the ocean was very important, much more than the forest, understanding of the relationship between physical, chemical, ecological parameters. Also, we have to involve human and social science. And in this respect, what does it mean? Something which is action. We can understand a lot of things. And at the beginning, it was my case. I was very glad when something was understandable. The problem to be solved, it was a pleasure. But I think that today we have an urgency. The lifetime of the ocean, the scale of space and time is that of the Earth system. And it is that of our life, of not only the biodiversity, but all the life, including the humans. And so, the next slide.
Yeah.
I think that we proposed to have this IPOS, which was a concept evolving. This international panel for ocean sustainability was the opportunity after explain to the EU, the European community, the importance of the ocean and the urgency to act. And they ask us to make an assessment, the seascape assessment, which can deliver some additional characteristic, allowing the EU or the United Nations to accept this type of organization. And we did that, but only for the environmental aspect. And this, what we did, we made a scanning of all the 35 most important assessment existing. And it was obvious that there are a lot of gaps which are not filled by these reports. So to take coherent of is to determine existing knowledge identity gaps, not only in the environmental aspect, but also in the social and economical aspect. And then to have this landscape, we will be able also to ask not only to the scientists, what do you think, but also to only the scientists which are operating, but these are the policymakers. And this gap, usually you have from science to policy, we want to have also from policy to science. And this is the ambitions of action driven first, to be holistic and to be inclusive. And I think that for that, we have the opportunity in 2025, much more, we will be able to cooperate on different thematics, including, for example, those from the resource, like the DC ecosystems, those from the energy, like energy wind, renewable energy. And in the future, we want also to work with all this coalition of institutions to solve this gap in between science and policy.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we will move on to our last segment. I'm just asking Ashok if Ambassador Olivier Poivre-d'Afort could make it to join us. He was no, he wasn't. No. So you will be him for the next segment if you agree. No, we're not afraid about that, but I wanted to make sure. So I will thank our panelists first. Please stay close so that we can have a wonderful photo with everyone. Oh, you can stay on the stage. Okay, so stay on the stage then. And you will stand? Yes. The two of you? Okay, so please. Yeah. Okay, so those are two key observers. Please come any side of the stage, on stage. So you've been listening to our panelists.
Maybe the lady could sit. No, the lady could sit. No, you better?
Yes.
Okay, you better. If I may,
you take my.
If
You
I
come
may,
here.
if I may,
You want to start?
Yes, because Minna would react better on just a small framing which I have. Yes. Yes, because I'm.
You have no more than 5 minutes.
Thank you. It's too much.
But
it's too much.
But take your time.
It's too much. It's
Maybe
too.
I have a question for you, but maybe we'll answer another question. You'll be free.
Thank
you. To do as you like.
Thank you.
My question was, in what ways can science play a meaningful role in the meaningful United Nations Ocean Conference you are currently preparing, and subsequently shape multilateral dialogues on ocean sustainability? It's yours now.
Thank you. It's a very sustainable question. We'll try to keep the question till June 2025. We have 18 months and all of us to work on different work streams, which I've already started. And I'm not the ambassador. I'm the deputy to the special envoy of President Macron, Ambassador Olivier Poivre-d'Arvort. And we're working together. Actually, we have been working together since the One Ocean Summit in Brest. And I see our friends and main supporters from Brest with the President François Ollier from Ifremer, who are here. That vague from Brest. With our president and with the 41 countries and heads of states and of governments who were represented, and all the actors in the ecosystem, and especially the scientists. We have carried, I think, the baton from Brest to Lisbon at the UNOC, where the two presidents, President Macron and President Chavez from Costa Rica, offered to the world the possibility of, and the responsibility, I would say, to have the UN Ocean Conference which will happen in Nice in June 2025. So I'm not the ambassador, I'm not a scientist, but we're trying to be a little bit engineers to offer a platform, an architecture with some dates, time, venues in Nice. We just got from Nice with Olivier, and we have been sharing this with most of you here. But I just want to remind it because it echoes basically all the different problematics that you have exposed. So we'll start with the One Ocean Science Congress, which is led by Professor Jean-Pierre Gattuso and President François Ollier and the IOC, part of the organizing committee. I will share more tomorrow twice, I think, here about that endeavor. But the aim was to put science, Mr. President, Monsieur Petit, at the heart not as a side event, but as a main course of the conference. So this will be like a prologue of the UN Ocean Conference on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of June from 9 to 6 in the port of Nice. In parallel, on the 7th of June, we'll have Ocean Rise and Resilience Coalition of cities, regions, coastal regions, and small developing islands gathering together not only to sign a manifesto like the fantastic cities declaration in Brest and what the platform of the Ocean and Climate Platform has been doing with cities, but basically we have started a new work stream, including the UN with UN Habitat and scientists everywhere to work on solutions of adaptations, of mitigations in front of this problem, which is the submersion, which is threatening, and that's already written by the scientists. By 2050, 1 billion people who are going to be threatened by this risk of submersion, and the double of it, 2 billion by 2100. So that'll be a meeting point in Rendezvous. In Nice. That's part of our joint rendezvous and responsibility to come up with solutions. I'm looking at Torsten, solutions which include, of course, finance. And that is the third work stream. We're going to organize with Monaco, France, and Costa Rica, with scientists, the Blue Economy and Finance Forum at the Forum Grimaldi. It's co-chaired by Pascal Lamy, the former WTO Director General, and Ilana Said, who's the co-chair of the Ocean Panel. The Ocean Panel, which regroups, as you know, 18 countries and who have 250 chief scientists from these 18 countries who have been mobilized and who recently, I'm just back from there, have published a report working with most of you on the emissions gap and this new figure, and I'll come back to figures and blue metrics and indicators, this new figure of 33% of the emission gaps is thanks to the ocean. And those are the figures that with Ambassador Olivier Poivre d'Arvor and the whole community of scientists and with the leadership of Françoise within the IPOS, we want to bring to the international community in June 2025. Thanks to data, thanks to digital twin with Mercator. I hope you're working with Mercator, or he's working with you. That's our duty to see that this works. For the world to agree, maybe not on one figure like the 1.5 degree for the climate, but maybe 3, and what Olivier calls a blue triangle. It could be 5 maybe figures, because maybe 3 is too less, which would be half on the state of the ocean. For us to agree on the state of the ocean, on say the volume, the mass, for instance, and also what could be growth and prosperity. And just to end, we need you to not only have this ocean science and policy platform with the IPOS and working with the existing tools with DOALOS, the World Ocean Assessment, and create an instrument of to help decisions. We need ocean sustainability, and I think that's really part of our job, is to listen to you, is the consideration, the collaboration and the cooperation with scientists and eminent scientific institutions to bring forward to the world this idea that resilience, and I finished my 4 minutes, resilience is protection and prosperity. And that's the reason why we are bringing together these 3 streams: science, finance, and blue economy, to come to the tip of our triangle, which is multilateral governance. And I think you have all said this before. So thank you very much. And I'm sure, Minna, you have a lot to say about that, because we are learning from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stay with us. We've just heard, and thank you for jumping in, and we've just heard Choc Adiseam from the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, part of the important team co-organizing with Costa Rica the next United Nations Ocean Conference in Nice in June 2025. And I'm going to have a very blunt question for you, Minna. What do you think of all that has been said so far? It's your turn.
Wait, can we go back to the slide with the action-driven?
Yeah. Tell me which one.
That one.
That one.
Okay, that's not fair. I really wanted to be Ambassador Olivier Poivre d'Arvor, but yes, maybe some other time. Okay, so first of all, I just want to express how happy I am to be back at the Ocean Pavilion again this year. fantastic to see that we have a home yet again here at the COP. So thank you very much for all the partners that enable us to have this platform. And I'm truly honored as well to be concluding such a science-heavy and expert panel. I thought it was very fantastic. So first, I would like to say that thank you, CNRS, for this initiative. I mean, we really need this collaborative approach. So pretty much as the Ocean Climate Platform has been collaborating, like on the policy side, it's great to now see that the science community are really coming together. And, you know, if anything that IUCN can offer to help is also to be that bridge in between. So we already have a long-standing collaboration with scientific institutions. So we claim to be a science-based organization, but that science is really housed with our experts in different commissions. We're already working, we have Joachim Claudet, who's part of the IUCN World Commission on Protected Areas. So that's all the resources that we're drawing from. So what I'm hearing today here is not only very, very impressive, I must say, I love the can-do attitude. I mean, that's really what we do. But we also really do need to step up. You're mentioning also the modeling of scenarios and future. I mean, we need to future-proof our society, our nature, everything. Our planet needs to be future-proof. And we have a lot of emerging activities that are happening in the ocean as well. So it's really urgent time to really focus on this collaboration. And also to have a multidisciplinary approach, and that's also what your institution is very much known for, but so that you can integrate the social sciences with the physical sciences, etc. That is absolutely key, because sustainability is a very holistic concept. So we need, and you talked about these global problems, and global problems need global solutions, but we also need global data sets, regional level, local level, to really to make those informed decisions. And I really must say, I like your point, Francisca, in terms of the science to policy interface, but the way that it can also can go the other way. The policymakers need to be very clear and articulate, you know, what is it that they need, right? And then again, this is also where IUCN trying to work to see where are these plug-in points where the science can be plugged in. There was a big scientific report that we released on ocean deoxygenation with 64 science authors. Now, the next day, every single minister, heads of state that took the stage mentioned the word deoxygenation. Some stumble on the word; it's a bit difficult to pronounce. That was the first time it was in mainstream media, and we need to see more of that. Still yet to see marine heat waves reflected in the policy, global policy language, and we cannot have that delay. So we need to really ramp that up. And I also wanted to maybe on this slide here, you had a question about also, you asked me about actionable, like how science can actually contribute to actionable things. And I think that, you know, whatever we do, we need to have policy informed by science, right? Sometimes the scientific advice exists, but we don't always take that advice. But I think we need to look at science, for example, on emerging blue ecosystem, right? That could potentially, that currently don't have a mitigation pathway, but they could contribute to climate change resilience. And there again, we need the scientific guidance. So we currently only have 3 marine and coastal ecosystems. So we need to ramp that up. So whether it's microalgae, so, you know, benthic sediments and mudflats. So in terms of conclude, we really would like to say from behalf of IUCN that we welcome this initiative, very research, particularly the deep ocean research. Because if you look at it now, most of it is actually funded by commercial sector. We need to make sure we do put enough also public funding into this to make sure it is that independent and can advise. Access and information, I think, to data and science needs to be thought of. You talked about a lot of science to policy, but also can have access to this. I think inclusion is key. I mean, you say you get answers the way you ask the questions. It also depends which scientists you ask. So in terms of we need to diversify much more the scientific base to make sure that we have that. This is a very positive note to actually continue. So we continue that ocean optimism. And once again, a very heartfelt thank you for all the scientific research you have contributed to. It's a real honor. And if I may, on the final diversion, we need to empower more women to be part of ocean science. Thank you.
Okay. We are approaching the end, so we have only 2 minutes left. So we're running out of time for questions or comments. Unless someone from the audience wants absolutely to see something. I see people from Ifremer, from Scripps, from the ocean platform, the ocean climate platform, maybe. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, because the Oceanographic platform was highlighted a few times, so thank you for the honor. I'm Laura Pico. I'm the executive director of the Oceanographic platform. Of course, we have been supporting strongly the IPOS since the very beginning, but here we're at the climate convention. We're at climate COP. We have the world leaders. Macron is now actually in the Waha Theater.
In the hallway.
We make sure that the data collected, the information, the knowledge that will be produced through IPOS and other tools can actually reach decision making. Because we heard that we want, the ocean in the outcomes of COP. No, we want the ocean in the global stocktake, in the key messages. We want to make sure that we have the right guidelines to implement afterwards in national strategies, ocean-based climate solutions. So how do we make sure that organizations like the platform, very prestigious and remarkable scientists, work together to ensure that the world leaders in the other regions actually get the sense of protecting the ocean?
Thank you. And one more here, if you still, and maybe there. Please be
Thank
very
you.
quick.
Very quick comment. Let's not forget in the scientific coalition, the space community. And I'm glad to take this opportunity to say that the French Space Agency is leading an initiative for the COP20, for UNOC 25, united the global alliance of a space agency
To observe
to provide free and open access to data to help the small islands, developing states, and
Okay, I see.
the developing countries, so they can benefit of a global free access for data, so they can implement their own strategies in sustainability. Thank you.
For sure, we need all science, all genders, and all continents solve a global issue.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Winifrida Shonde, environmental scientist from Tanzania. Sorry, I remember you said that you just want to have in the team, but I'm the new here. But my question, I think, can you accept me to continue with my question, please?
Not in charge, but we have 1 minute. Yeah, yeah, you can take it.
Thank you. Okay, my simple question is, for my observation, all over more than 10 years, I'm working with the women under coastal region who are seaweed farming people and fisheries. So I'm advocating them with the cleaner ocean responsibility. So what I was coming special for this COP is what I have seen in the field. And I have found that there are a need which is just required from you, our lead, to help these developing countries, because that's where there are activity which are continuing. If we're focusing maybe on the other area while forgetting those people on the developing country there, maybe that effect on the developing country can be affecting the other country, as the ocean have no boundaries. And one of the things which I had observed is like women and community, they are there, they are ready to support and they are ready to work. And because one of these coastal region people, they are depending on the ocean on their daily basis. So their everyday life depends on that ocean. So you see doing activity like cultivation, fishing. So my work there is just making every day to advocate them how to do it in sustainable way. And I have found on the other region, they even use some plastic maybe to make sure that they make what they are cultivating on the ocean as a floater. But you see that they know the effect of that plastic, but they lack what is the alternative of it. So if together we can join our hand and upscale what we are initiating there in our countries, especially our angels like us, to make sure that we work together. What we want is just to see the impact. So we have the tested projects, we have the impact, we have the reference, we have seen the the way they are talking, how they do, and they depends on that ocean for the current, and there are other who have almost years and say that we depend on this ocean for our daily basis. So we are joining together and make sure that we have the solution, especially that gap of science is very important. Thank you.
Scale collaboration. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Okay, so it's high time to say a few words, concluding words. So I want to thank the audience, our panelists, and the organizer of this wonderful Ocean Pavilion again. So thank you all.